Hey everyone, 5 minutes phrase fan 555 here. Um, I wasn't sure how long it would take for me to get things done that I needed to do today. And because I was on my tablet watching YouTube videos that I was wanting to get catched up on throughout the day today, so because I forgot about when I was going to do my new LEGO Star Wars Force Awakens gameplay video, a live stream video, which would have been uh, after I had a shower from mowing the yard. But I forgot about it because I was watching YouTube videos to get caught up on. So for today, instead of that, because I forgot about it, I'm doing this live stream video to show you guys my model car collection that I've been wanting to show to you guys for a long time now. So turn around the camera. Turn it to the back camera so I can show you guys. Here is my model car collection. Of course, the newest addition to my collection. I showed y'all in a video, I showed it to you guys in a live stream video a while back. But my very first model car I made was this 1931 Ford model. The doors aren't on it because, well, I couldn't get them to stay on it whenever I first put this together. Now, of course, this is the first model I did, and of course that would be the engine. And then turn it around to the back, show you the back of it. That's the back side. Really dusty as well because it's been sitting up here for a long time. And then, of course, underneath the model, the only tires that do roll are the back tires for that model. The hood to it is kind of difficult to put on and back on. Set down my phone for a minute, put it back on. Might take me a little bit. I'll get back to the camera a little bit. Give me a minute. Might take me a sec or so. Okay. Put that model back where I had it. And then show you some more of my models. But yeah, it is my oldest model car because it is the first model that I had made. And then this next one I made, which is this one, is a 1932 Ford. 1932. If I can get it out. Tires to it don't roll because I had to glue them on to keep them to stay. Excuse me, interior of it, the hood to it. Might be able to take off of it to show you the engine. Yep, I painted the engine to it like that. And of course, turn it around, show you the back of it. This would be the first model car that I had put a license plate sticker on. And I'll show you underneath this model. underneath it. I didn't paint. I would have before I put it together, but after I put it together, I was like, you know what, I want to paint it underneath it, but then I was like, well, since I got it together, now I can't, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Because I would have to repaint over probably everything, because there would be paint in places on things that I wouldn't want it to get on. One point, the front window shield had broken off from when I had glued it at one point. But this would be my second model car that I had ever made. Put it back right there where I had it. And then my third model car I had made was this 1941 Chevy pickup truck. Move two other models off of it right quick that I had made to get it out to show you guys. Tires on it also don't roll. The bed of it. Might be able to see the interior, but I'm not sure. And it has stickers on the doors on the outside. The hood has little handles on it, which I had put on it whenever I made it underneath the hood. And then the engine. And then, of course, this one I painted underneath of. I painted underneath this one. Whenever I made this one, I didn't realize that I should have painted it before I put it together. Again, I forgot about it, and this one I painted already together underneath, and the tires, spare tire got paint on them, and if I touch them, it's like they're still wet in some way. Still are to this day from when I had made it. For some reason, I don't know why, but it is. It's weird. So now what I do is I paint everything to a model that I'm working on, and then I put it together. And I would have painted this part of the firewall, the top part of it, but I didn't think about that whenever I made my third model. But it's okay though, because it's mostly covered up whenever the hood is sitting on it. And then, that was my headphones. I'm on my bed, or standing on my bed to do this live stream. Move my headphones so I can do this a little bit better. Okay. I'll put that model back where I had it. Oh wait, I didn't show the back of it. Crap, get back out. Here's the back. It has its license plate too, and then the tailgate comes off. I may eventually just glue it on to keep it held on and set my phone down for a minute. Again, because I have to put it a certain way for holding it on there. I'm actually gonna just leave it off of it for now. This model sitting out of the way for now so that I can glue that on it eventually. But that was my third model car I had made. My fourth model car I made. would be one of my favorites, probably my most favorite, which would be this one. It is a 1950 or 51, I think. 1950. Yeah, 1950 Ford pickup truck. This is what I was wanting for my first car originally, but it ended up being that 1967 Chevy pickup truck. I'm hoping I can get this, a real car or truck like this eventually at some point in the future. I don't know how long it would be till when I do. The camera's kind of blurry for some reason. I don't know why. I think it probably needs to be cleaned. I can't do anything about it right now, but anyway. That is this model. When I did this model, I would have painted this front part for the front of it black like I did for this, but I didn't think about it when I was painting it and put it together. Now, whenever I get the real thing from this fender from here and down to this back fender, I would want black and then the rest of it red. Like that. I would have painted these black as well, but I didn't think about it for that as well, so I didn't. There's windows for the doors, you might be able to see in there, but I'm not sure. The seat in there I had painted with metallic gold paint, so I wanted to, and then take the hood off that's underneath it, and then the engine. Might be able to see the engine if the camera wasn't blurry like this, which it is for some reason. Not sure why, but it is. Let me turn around my phone for a minute and look at it. I don't know. I don't know why it's blurry like this. Could just be because it needs to be cleaned, but I don't know. But anyway, that's the engine in it. I showed it to someone before. I think it was my Uncle Brad. I showed it to him at one point. He said that the engine in it looks really good. It looks like the engine is like really good, like really detailed. Which I'm glad that it does. The reason why is because I painted it with metallic silver. Same thing for the radiator. And then it has these, which are on it, which are chrome, and then 3 carburetors, which are also chrome. It has 3 carburetors. This kind of truck would have 3 carburetors. Pretty much. Would have 3. And then, of course, the hoses right here are chrome as well. They connect to the radiator. And the firewall painted metallic gold as well. And then it has hubcaps to it which say Ford on them, of course. And behind it is the tailgate. The tailgate to this actually have glued on. At one point I didn't. I had it just sort of sitting in the back of it, but now I have it glued on. It's kind of crooked, but because it slid off down a little bit for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's okay. I don't really care. And then one of these had broken off at one point because my brother had bumped it at one point whenever I took it somewhere and it came off. I glued it back on at one point. Underneath it, of course, it's like this. Up inside these fenders, I painted metallic silver. Now, if I were to make this model, I would have did it all black underneath, flat black, and the frame to it as well. But I didn't. And then, of course, for there underneath the cab, I did. For underneath the bed part of it, I would have, but I already had all of everything else on for underneath it, and I didn't think about it. And same thing with the spare tire. I ended up getting paint on it because I painted everything with it already on it. I didn't think about it, so there was nothing I could do about it. And then it would have a back bumper on it, but it had broken off at one point and had broken in half, and I tried to glue it back together, but whenever it dried, it would be one part of it would be straight the way it should, the other part would be crooked in some way. So I broke it back apart, glued it back together, it still do that. But this time I had something sitting behind it, and it still did that. So I just took it, threw it away, instead of trying to glue it back on. But that is this model. This would be my favorite model. And my favorite real car as well. I've seen one at somebody's house before, plenty of times. This, going to places, hadn't went and actually looked at it and seen it, but seen it as we were driving by this person's, somebody's house that somebody has on the way to places sometimes. I think they still have it, but I don't know. I haven't really seen it anymore yet, or anymore from where it would normally be sitting for when they have it parked and aren't driving it anywhere. But anyway, that's my 4th model car. My 5th model that I made is my biggest and longest model that I had made. Now, this is a model semi-truck that I had made. It's been now probably 1 year or 2 ago from when I had made this model. Now, on this model, all tires do roll. All tires are movable for this model, because all I had to do was just pop them into place. So they do turn. It has antennas on the mirrors and the exhaust pipes coming up off the cab, and then handles on the cab. Like these handles and then these mirrors. Of course, I had to glue on the lights and then horns on a roof. All I had to do was to pop them into place. I put some glue on them anyways to make sure they stay held in place. And then this would be a filter thing, something to do with the engine. It has a hose that comes out from under the hood, connects to it, has 2 license plates on the front bumper. If you can see them, you might be able to see them. They're stickers as well I put on the bumper. Back when I had made this model, and I'm going to do this. Do that to show that all tires do roll. Now, at one point, the front axle had broken on either this side or that side, and I had to have something sitting up underneath it so that it would stay together completely. It was barely still attached whenever it broke, and whenever it was basically just sort of hanging there, and I had to carefully push it back in place and put glue there. Pushed it back in place, had something held underneath it, holding it up like this, and then something over here on the side or that side, making sure it's pushed in place. And it glued back, it hardened back together the way it should be. So now this kind of semi-truck is an extended frame semi-truck with a basically extended cab, pretty much, because this is what you would call a sleeper semi, because in this part here there's a bed. Inside this part here there's a bed. That's why there's a handle here and a door here. Same thing for the other side. And the steps here. And then on the back of the cab here, it came with this sticker saying "United We Stand." I put that sticker there on the back of it after I had painted it and everything. And then this sort of fitted into place, and then this just popped into place as well. And then this did as well, but now I'm thinking about probably gluing that on, because it simply comes right off. See if I can get it to come off. I think I'll be able to get it to come off, but I'm not gonna pull it off the rest of the way, because I don't want to break something somehow. Now, the way this was made is it was made to where it has this to where you can actually have a trailer attached to it if you wanted to, like a model trailer. I have a model trailer, but it's one of those trailers for carrying cars on it. I'm thinking about putting that together eventually. I just don't know when it will be. So whenever I finish that is when I'm going to show it to you guys eventually. I set down my phone for a minute. My sister came in here. Don't know why she knows that whenever the door's shut, I'm doing a video or something. She comes in here anyway sometimes, and I don't like it. But anyway, it has 4 double tires for here in the back and 2 regular ones in the front. 2 gas tanks to it. I'll show you guys the engine. The engine to it was really easy. Actually, not too difficult. You might be able to see the inside of it, maybe, kind of. Might be hard to tell, but the seats in there I had painted blue. I set my phone back down for a minute so I can open the hood to it. Show you guys the radiator and the engine. Now, this model, like I said before, this model is the biggest model that I had made. And it is the biggest model with the biggest engine. The engine is bigger than the rest of the engines in my other model cars. I'll show you what I'm talking about. That being the engine, you might be able to see it, but I'm not sure. And of course, it has the biggest radiator out of all. It has the biggest radiator out of all my models. The hood opens up like this because it simply just attached right onto it without any glue. And the hose that's black is what runs to this filter thing here on the outside of it. I'm not sure what that filter thing would be for, but it runs out to it right there. Turn the model around so I can show you the other side of the engine. Then there's a hose that attaches to the radiator as well. You might be able to see it. But that would be the engine. Set down. Back down my phone. Close the hood to it. Take it and flip it over onto its side so that I can show you guys underneath the model. Now, this kind of this semi-truck cab like this, a sleeper one like this would apparently have two drive shafts. It has one main long drive shaft that connects to the transmission of the engine and connects to this first axle here for this set of back tires, and then a smaller drive shaft, a smaller and shorter drive shaft that connects from underneath, from behind the first drive shaft and connects to the second axle for the other set of back tires. And then I'm not really sure what these are, but they are connected to the gas tanks for it. And then there would probably be something attached, something else like something attached to them in real life, and then there would probably be something else attached to this for exhaust. But the way the exhaust system works is it would go from the exhaust manifold for the engine for this, and then it would connect to this part somewhere, and would go out on this side of it to the top, and then on the other as well. And then let's see if I can show you where the front drive shaft had broken. If you can see it right there where that glue mark is where it had broken in the past at one point, which I had glued back together all the way around it right there. I'm going to show you all the way around it right there. I had glued back together. Set the phone back down for a minute so that I can flip it back over onto its tires and put it back where I have it. For now, eventually I'm going to glue that pair of mud flaps there for the second set back tires eventually onto it, if I remember to. Hopefully I will. Put that model back. And then of course my fifth model car I had made is a 1970s Lamborghini Countach. Now, if I had my dream car, this is what it would be. My dream car would be a 1970s Lamborghini Countach. That would be my dream car. Which today, they're still really expensive. They're several $1,000s or more still. The newer ones today, they're way more expensive. Some Lamborghinis today for almost $1 million or more, several $1,000,000 even. Really high, expensive money for the new ones for today. My mom's dream car would be a Dodge Viper. I'm not sure what year, but that's what her dream car would be. And then my dad's dream car would be a 1970s Corvette Stingray, because the front of it is kind of shaped like a Stingray. I like the shape of the front of it. Now, if I had enough money to, which hopefully someday I will, but I don't really know for sure, I would buy those dream cars for my mom and dad, and the Lamborghini Countach for me, because that would be my dream car, and that's what this model is. Now, if I were to get my dream car, I probably wouldn't have it painted this metallic blue color. I painted the body of this metallic blue color with spray paint, and then painted a clear coat paint on it. In real life, if I ever get a Lamborghini Countach for my dream car, like this one, the body of it I would want to be a red color, probably the red color like I do for the 1950 Ford pickup truck model. But anyway, the reason why I like this kind of Lamborghini is because of its wedge shape. Now, I'm gonna tell you kind of a little bit of a history about it. Just one thing, really. Whenever Lamborghini first came out, it didn't look anything like they do now with their wedge shape to them. They looked a lot different. I'll maybe try to find a picture eventually, but at some point in the 70s, which was when this kind of Lamborghini came out, whenever this kind of Lamborghini came out, this kind of Lamborghini was actually the first wedge shaped look that the Lamborghini had. Whenever a Lamborghini first started coming out with them now, like they do today, they have this wedge shape to them. Whenever they first started having that wedge shape was back in the 1970s at some point. And whenever Countach, set my phone back down for a minute, is Countach, set my phone back down for a minute. Of course, whenever they first came out with the shaped Lamborghini like this one, they couldn't have the engine in the front because of its wedge-shaped design. They had to have the engine in the back of the car, which is the way they make them today, even. Well, the front of it would be where the spare tire would be, and it would also be for the car. So that's what that would be. It also has a little Lamborghini symbol there on the front hood to it, and that's underneath it. I painted it flat black. And the interior for the seats in it, I had painted metallic gold. I really like the way the seats look in it. In real life, they would probably be really comfortable, but I don't really know. I've never been in a Lamborghini Countach before. I'd really like to. And then the dashboard in there, front window, and then it has these scoops here on both sides of it here in the back, and then this like that. I'm gonna show you why in a minute. And then of course the fender, or no, not fender, spoiler for there in the back of it, back end of it. And for the license plate, I put the sticker on it that says Lambo on it because it's a Lamborghini. And then this part here in real life has like openings in it, kind of like a like window blinds, something like that. But I'll show you a picture of the Lamborghini Countach eventually as well. But anyway, behind the seats here on the inside, in between here, it has a window. You might be able to see it right between there and the roof. It has a window. The real thing does too. Open this up. And there's the engine, which I had painted all metallic silver pretty much. And the engine is kind of crooked in there because whenever I glued it on, it had to go in kind of crooked because I messed up on something somewhere. So it had to be like that. And pipings and some sort there. But that would be the engine. Now, the reason why it has these scoop things here is because if you didn't know this about the Lamborghini Countach, is that right there is the radiator. There's one on this other side too. The Lamborghini Countach has two radiators, not just one big radiator, two separate radiators. Now, the reason why it has two radiators is because if it had one big one, it wouldn't fit. So they had to make it into two separate small radiators. They put one over here and one over here. Now, I think today's Lamborghinis are like that too, but I'm not sure. Now, if a Lamborghini is hit, if this kind of Lamborghini is in an accident here, on this side, the back end, this side of the back end, the radiator and engine both is obviously going to be damaged, most likely. And then if it's rear-ended, the engine would still end up being damaged, which probably the only thing I wouldn't like about the Lamborghini Countach is the fact of knowing that there's always a possibility that you could end up getting rear-ended in the Lamborghini Countach. And now if it's hard enough of a hit in the rear end of the Lamborghini Countach, most likely, but I don't know. I think I saw a video somewhere on YouTube where someone had been hit in the rear end bad enough to where it damaged the engine bad enough to where their Lamborghini Countach had caught on fire. Luckily, they were able to get out before the whole car was on fire. By the time fire trucks got there, put out fire, after firefighters got there to put out the fire, in this video I saw, after they had it put out, there wasn't really much of this person's Lamborghini Countach. So I don't know if this person would still have it or not. He may have, but I don't know. It would have taken him a long time to fix back up the way he had it, and would need thousands and thousands of dollars to replace everything. underneath this, the frame would be like this, pretty much underneath the frame, and then the engine goes all the way to here, and transmission. Now, I don't know, I think it would probably have some sort of drive shaft, probably, connecting to the front axle somehow. I don't really know, probably didn't really have a drive shaft at all, most likely, but the way this kind of car would move is of course, from the back tires, because the back axle would be connected to the engine. Now, some cars today, like our Dodge Grand Caravan that I told you about, moves by pulling itself forward and backwards with the front tires and front axle. That's the way it was made. Now, we had a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan before we got our 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan. Whenever we got one we have now, it was used at least maybe once or twice, and then people that had it didn't want it anymore. They traded it in for something else, I guess. And then we traded in our 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan for our 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan that we have now. What I'm saying about the 2010 one that we had is, if you were to look up underneath it, it would have a spare tire. The spare tire for the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan would be up underneath the back of it. Now, for the 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan, the spare tire would be up toward because we were leaving somewhere once. I think it was my mom's store, I think. And I accidentally dropped the key. It went up underneath the van, and my dad sort of crawled under there a little bit to get it. He was like, "Oh, so that's where the spare tire is." I was like, "Really? Where is it?" He said, "It's up here in the front." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, that's weird. Normally it wouldn't be there in the front. Normally it would be there in the back." But apparently that's the way they had made the 2016 version.
Let's get ready for bed.
That's my dad telling me I gotta go to bed. Tomorrow's Sunday. I gotta go to church. Of course, because anyway, I didn't really know it had the tire in the front, but it's pretty cool. And my sixth model car I had made is this 1932 Chevy Coupe Street Rod. I really like the shape of the front of it because it sticks out in almost like a V shape in the front. And regular version would have something like right here for, well, you probably know what I mean, but anyway, has front license plate, back one too, that says Chevy on it, because of course it's a Chevy and I wanted it to be like that. The hood, of course, comes off. Now, it has like a little indentation there in it with lines on it, is so that if you wanted to, you could cut that shape out of it and have a hood scoop on it. if you wanted to, because it had that option with it for if you wanted to do that. Of course, the radiator is kind of small because of the way it's shaped. And then, of course, the engine in it, which I was told the engine also to this looks very detailed. It's because of the metallic silver paint that I used on it. And the chrome parts to it that I had glued to it as well. These, and then these for the carburetors. This kind of car would have 2 carburetors, and then the firewall I had painted metallic silver along with the seats in it. Might be able to tell, but I don't know. And then, of course, normally the real regular 1932 Chevy coupe wouldn't have a sunroof to it. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. This is a street rod version, so of course it would look different. Now, it had a little indentation, like I said, for that, for cutting out this part of the roof for putting in a sunroof to it. And that's what I did. I cut that out after I spray painted the body and everything, and put this in for giving it a sunroof. This is my only model car that has a sunroof. I wanted to give it a sunroof because none of my model cars have a sunroof, and this will probably be the only one that will have a sunroof, but I'm not sure. But you can look down in there in it through that. And then, of course, turn it around, the back end of it with the license plate, like I said. And then flip it over onto its side. This is actually one of the Lamborghini Countach that I had made. Was the first model that I had painted the frame and all with underneath, like I did for this. I had painted the actual frame to it, flat black, and then underneath the body to it, flat black as well, and the fenders. And then everything else metallic silver, of course, but that's underneath that model. 2 more models to show for this video for me showing you model car collection. Now, put the phone back down for a minute, put this back. Or put that model back. My 7th model car that I had made is the smallest model car that I had made. It is a 1921 Ford Rat Rod or Street Rod. Of course, because of the way it was made, that's the front of it, of course, and the engine. This is the smallest engine that I have for my model car collection, because this is my smallest model car to my model car collection. And then that's the inside of the cab part of it. And then, of course, it has this to it, which in real life would fold down like a convertible. And then it would have a little hole here in the back of it for a window. Well, I wanted to make it look like it actually had a window there, so I had a plastic sheet thing left over from the 1931 Ford model that I had made, or made for my first model car, because for the windows, that it came with a clear plastic sheet. So I took that, cut a small piece off, and used that for a piece of that for the back window to that. And then Of course, the body of it, I had painted that green color and then painted the clear coat paint on it. And all tires that move to this are the back ones. The front ones don't, because I had to glue them on to keep them held on or they would fall off. And to sort of flip it over, this is what it looks like underneath. I painted it like that as well. The frame to it already had the back axle and drive shaft and the knees molded onto it already, and the oil pan and bottom part of the transmission already molded to it as well. So all I had to do was to go ahead and paint the top half of the engine and then the bottom half and glue it together. So that's that model, and then my last model car for my model collection I want to show for now, and then what you hear in the background would be my sister. And then, of course, this model will be my 8th model car that I have finished. This is a 1953 Ford pickup truck. This would have been 2 to 3 years after the 1950 Ford pickup truck. This, of course, pickup truck, of course, looks a lot different from the 1950 one. The front of it, of course, I got a sticker came with it. I put on the front bumper that says 53 on it. Now, normally the front back bumper would probably be chrome, but whenever they came with the model, they were basically a regular white plastic. Actually, it was all gray for this model, which I painted black because that's the color I wanted it. And then, of course, the body to it, the hood, I painted metallic green, or spray painted metallic green, and then painted clear coat paint on that. And then, of course, underneath the hood, flat black color. Firewall, flat black as well. Top part of the radiator, same thing. Now, the good thing about this model is that all tires to this model also roll and move. This is the only model car with tires that move at all, really. Like all tires that move, actually. And it is the only pickup truck with tires that move, because I only have 2 model pickup trucks. And then, of course, that's the engine. It has a carburetor underneath the air filter thing. It would have a carburetor. The radiator, I think I painted flat black, actually. Which, I think that's what I did for that. And then, of course, the interior, painted all that red color. And then dashboard and steering wheel, about silver. Inside of the bed part, I had painted flat black. And then, of course, the back end of it didn't come for a license plate sticker in the back of it. Unfortunately, it says Ford on the tailgate. And then, of course, the little gas cap right here for putting in gas. Now, the reason why all tires to this model actually roll is because inside the drive shafts are metal rods that it came with. So the drive shafts were hollow. And of course, it came with hubcaps for the tires, which I glued on. Flip it over onto the side, show you underneath. And of course, it has a spare tire. The white part of it I painted flat black because it's underneath the model. I painted it before I put tire together, painted part that goes on top of it for holding on, flat black, and of course the whole frame itself, and then put it on, and everything else that you see paint like that before I put it together. Inside, back axle, of course, has a metal rod going through it on the inside. The front drive shaft doesn't. You can see the one for the front drive shaft right there for the front ones. There for the front. And then, of course, the exhaust pipe runs back here. And then I think there would be one for this part of exhaust piping, but for some reason it didn't have the other part to it. For some reason, and then of course the drive shaft connecting to the engine and the back axle. Now, for some reason, for this year car, truck, the gas tank would be right here. This would be the gas tank because on the side of it is the gas cap. Now, you would think that it would be here on the inside of the frame, because today's cars are made like that with it on the inside of it there. After crash accidents, like car crash accidents started happening, like T-bone car crashes on this side of this kind of Ford pickup truck, well, the gas tank would break in, and sometimes it would cause a really bad fire. Sometimes nobody would survive the fire because of that. So they stopped doing that at one point and started putting them on the inside of the frame and not the outside of it like that. But that's pretty much my whole model car collection. I'll show you my model Titanic. I have stuff in the way of it right now, but I'll show it to you guys eventually. But anyway, I'll show you guys my model Titanic some other time in one of my other videos. At some point, since I didn't do my new Lego Star Wars live stream video today, because I couldn't, it will maybe be this Monday after tomorrow. Today is May 26th. Tomorrow's the 27th, so May 28th maybe would be when I do that new video instead, because I couldn't do it today. That day we don't have school because of course it's Memorial Day. So we don't have school that day for Memorial Day. So we'll be home all day that day, maybe. Depends on if we need to do anything or go anywhere. I'll maybe be able to do it that day, depending on if we need to go do anything or anything. But, that's when that will be. And then my new Minecraft video, BG Drive video, not really sure about yet. Also, I want to say to everybody who maybe has a family member that had fought in some sort of war or something at some point, and those who have died fighting for us in wars, let them know that I thank them for their service. And hope everybody has a good Memorial Day Monday. And hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream video for me showing you my model car collection. And one last thing I want to say is I want to say to the Dash, I want to say thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I thought you guys subscribed to me before, but I wasn't really sure. But anyway, thank you for subscribing to me. And any new subscribers that had subscribed to me recently, I want to say thanks for subscribing to me as well. Give you a shout out to you for subscribing to me, and of course to the Dash for subscribing to me as well. So I hope you guys will watch this eventually. I hope the Dash will too. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will see you guys maybe Monday. So hope you guys have enjoyed seeing my model car collection. Until then, I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.